From Alberta students showing support for their teachers to a possible trademark tussle, a Zellers revival, and a change in focus on Halloween. Our Primetime This Week panel is in. Joining us this evening, on the right, Darren Krause, editor and founder of Livewire Calgary, and right there in the middle, Bob Sumner, former 30-year news veteran, now media and communications consultant. Good evening to you both. And let's begin with the voice of students having a say over the outcome of the strike by Alberta teachers.
Strike! 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 Strike!
Students on the steps of the legislature Thursday protesting the government's use of the notwithstanding clause to impose a contract and force teachers back into classrooms.
We are the future of Alberta. We are the future workers. We're the future doctors. We're the future lawyers.
They need to hear us. They need to see us. They need to listen.
Students at a number of schools in Calgary also taking to the streets, walking out in support of their teachers.
They don't have fair payments. They don't have fair class sizes.
I felt really hurt, personally, by the actions that the government has been taking with the teachers.
Well, because education matters. It's like a basic requirement.
It's a message directed squarely at the government, and the response from the halls of the legislature?
We have 740,000 students. I know there were a couple hundred here today, but I think the vast majority want to continue on with their schooling and return to normal as best as possible.
As for the message provincial Labour leaders are sending to the politicians in power?
Over the coming weeks and months, we will use all the tools at our disposal to remove them from government democratically.
To that, the government says it is unaware of illegal organized activity and will respond accordingly. Okay, Darren, I'll start with you. Many of the students protesting Thursday are just a few years away from being eligible to vote, some in the next scheduled general election. To what degree should their concerns be landing on the radar of our provincial politicians?
Well, you know what? It's a conversation that we've been having in our newsroom, and frankly, I mean, the reality is that these students should have a voice. And in a lot of this discussion, it's been the ATA and it's been the province, and there hasn't been a lot of talk from the students. If you look at the last general election, you know, to your point about the future voters, in 2023, there was a Leger poll that was done afterwards, and albeit it was a small sample size, it showed that 65% of those who were 18 to 24 surveyed said they voted in that May 2023 election. So that has a potential to be a pretty large voting bloc moving forward in the 2027 provincial election. Now, with that said, the only thing that we don't know right now is 2 years from now, if this is actually going to be an issue that draws that younger crowd out to the ballot box.
All right, so Bob, from the government's actions in quashing the strike to the response of Albertans, students included, what's your takeaway about the state and future of education in our province?
Well, I would say that our education system is quite flawed right now. It's the teachers were fed up and frustrated, and that's why they went out, because the classroom sizes are crazy, and the diverse needs of the kids coming through the education system now are not being addressed properly. So it's a lot of stress. I know quite a few teachers that I've talked to, and they all told me it wasn't about the money. It was, you know, they wanted a raise, of course, but what was mostly was the classroom sizes. Now, I read a pretty interesting editorial yesterday about maybe it's time for education to switch to 12-month model, you know, like the rest of us have to work and have like vacation time, and maybe that would spread out the classroom sizes a bit more. I know it has to change, so it can't keep going on the way it is.
Okay, so one more on this, Darren. We heard from ATA President Jason Schilling off the top. Where do you feel teachers are left in this equation?
Well, you know, to Bob's point, I mean, everybody would like a little bit more money. The issue of classroom sizes may be addressed, but the use of the notwithstanding clause, I think, is a morale check for all of us. In many ways, the province executed a ideal union busting plan. I think they knew that the ATA, there were some questions about how much money they had in their war chest for a prolonged strike, and they took advantage of it by digging their heels in. And while there wasn't a great deal of movement on things like the per student funding, which I should note probably hasn't been increased since I think it's around 2018, and there's no real movement on changing of class sizes, there was movement on wages, and they are going to get that increase through the legislation. And hopefully that in and of itself can help put a dent in those class sizes and help keep morale of teachers a little bit buoyed.
All right, let's shift gears to a new twist this week in the debate over Alberta adopting a new license plate. Meet Denise Dow, a New Brunswicker who, as a proud Canadian, trademarked the phrase strong and free nearly 2 decades ago for merchandise use with products now sold through a multitude of Canadian retailers. And last week, Dow began hearing from people familiar with the brand telling her of Alberta's license plate plans.
I talked to my trademark office, and the best case scenario is that we come to an agreement.
Dow's trademark includes license plates of metal, so she believes charging a nominal fee is reasonable and suggests directing some of that money to an Alberta charity.
I'm not looking for a battle. I want it to be a win-win.
We've spoken to our lawyers about it. There's no copyright infringement. Let's be clear. This is the Alberta motto. It's on our crest. Alberta strong and free.
And while the Service Alberta minister insists there is no issue, and a trademark lawyer says the government can make a number of arguments, the matter could still be argued in court.
You know, even a public body like the provincial government can infringe a private trademark.
I just believe that they would do the right thing.
And for those wondering, 2 versions remain in the vote for Alberta's strong and free license plate. Finalists include an image of Moraine Lake and the foothills with a pump jack and ranchers. Online voting wrapping up November 5th with the winner to be announced mid-month. Bob manufacturers, they purchased licensing rights from that lady, Denise Dow, to use that strong and free branding on their products. Surprised Alberta might end up in a conflict with this entrepreneur?
No, I think that it's weird because I never even heard anything about this before, and I'm surprised that Alberta wasn't put forward. But I think, it's in our national anthem, it's everywhere. So I think they could do the right thing and do a donation, like she said. But we'll see what happens.
Darren, how do you see this factoring into debate over not all Albertans agreeing with the government's decision to ditch Wild Rose Country for strong and free?
Well, I might just be a really silly old bear, but this whole license plate thing it's a channel changer for the province. I mean, you have to realize that this is a government that's dealing with a teacher strike that has been very contentious. The Wyant report on the AHS purchasing scandal and their privatization of diagnostic services. They know that people love to latch on to this stuff and will debate, the whole strong and free versus Wild Rose Country. And they're happy to let Albertans debate it as long as they aren't talking about those other issues.
All right. On that note, time for us to take a bit of a break. But when we come back, the reemergence of Zellers and trading away treats. More from our Primetime This Week panel in a moment. Welcome back. After a couple of false starts, a Canadian retail icon is ready for the return of shoppers.
One, two, three.
This is the brand new Zellers, now occupying 60,000 square feet of Edmonton's Londonderry Mall, the first to reopen in the nation. And the lineup to get in was a long one.
It's nostalgia, yeah, and people have missed it. The cheaper stores, somebody to give Zellers or Walmart competition.
While some of the popular features of the old Zellers may be missing, like a pharmacy and restaurant, the renewed focus will be on clothing and hardwares, helping fill a void.
Customers were really sad to see the Hudson's Bay go, along with other department stores like Sears. But we are so excited that Zellers will be opening up their store here to bring a modern take on the department store concept.
The company behind the new Zellers in Edmonton aims to open in every market, major market, across Canada. Darren, surprised there would be people queuing up to be among the first in the door. What strikes you about the efforts to revive Zellers and the response to it?
Well, as much as I want to support my fellow Bears, Eddie, peace, brother. Yeah, you know what? I am surprised, if for no other reason than people can get all sorts of stuff through Amazon without even having to leave their chair. I know, I mean, one of the speakers talked about the fact that there's a nostalgia, and I mean, the nostalgia is there for me as well, but I feel no desire to go to Zellers. I mean, the retail landscape in Canada and North America has changed so significantly, and there's a lot of these discount retailers out there, and so I'm not sure what it is over and above nostalgia.
All right. On that point, Bob, after years of decline, disappearing department stores, how much of a sign might this be of a Canadian retail revival?
Well, I'll go with the lowest price is still the law. And we still have a patio set from Zellers. So I know we used to love going to Zellers. And when Target came in, I called it Red Zellers. But I think people love nostalgia. Maybe we can get people out to the malls again and quit making billionaires more billionaires, and just get out and shop in the stores again. I like going to the stores, but boomer. So
boomer, not a bear. Okay, one more topic. While kids in costumes and Darren go hand in hand on Halloween, the motivation for many is trading scares for a cache of candy to squirrel away at the end of the day. There it is. And moderation is always the best approach when it comes to consumption of sweets and treats. There are other considerations, though, when it comes to enjoying Halloween.
We don't want to demonize those yummy foods, emphasize the social part of it, the getting ready and, going out to see your friends, hang out with your friends.
Another consideration, visiting this Edmonton dental office.
Children get to come in and they bring in their candy, and if they're able to fill up our bucket, and we're fairly lenient, especially with the little kids, they can exchange it for a full-size toy.
Trading sweets for toys starts Sunday with the candy collection going to food banks and Smile Edmonton. Bob, time for a rethink of Halloween and the focus on candy, or is this one of those celebrations that should be left well enough alone?
Well, it seems to be okay, but I'm wondering if that dentist is the dentist that voted against Trident, when there was 4 out of 5. But I don't know. You get a toy that lasts a lot longer. Eating all that candy is not really good for you. And you've seen kids, they start vibrating like crazy. But I don't know. It's fun. They go out, have some fun, meet some friends. Hopefully don't get their bags slashed by vandals. I don't know. It's just one of those fun things, but it seems to be declining.
Okay, Darren, I know you're wearing the costume, but what's more of a concern, kids and candy, or the parents sneaking treats out of either the candy ball or their own kids' candy bags?
Well, I have been known to sneak a coffee crisp or a Kit Kat from the kids' bags, but of course, it's always in moderation. I generally don't eat a lot of sugar unless, of course, it's a big pot of honey.
Oh, funny guy. Funny guy. Okay, you know what? We have about 15 seconds each. How about a winner from each of you? Bob, go first.
Well, the winner for me is Darren dressed up in that costume. And Blue Jays fans, hopefully tonight. And losers, I'm going to say whoever decided the notwithstanding clause was a good idea.
Go ahead, Darren.
Okay, municipal election swearing in this week. Congrats to all the candidates. Good job. I'm also going to go with the losers, going to be Los Angeles Dodgers, which means that our Blue Jays take home the first World Series in 32 years. Go get them.
Yeah, go Jays for sure. All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you both. Hope you have an awesome weekend and a real fun Halloween.
Thanks. See you guys.
You too. Thanks, Michael.